We are back, baby! Things have been extremely dramatic over the last couple weeks. Oh, I was messed up a bit. It's fine. It's fine. To catch everybody else up to speed a little bit, I helped set up my cousin's wedding and reception, and it was all beautiful and gorgeous and purples and whites. Everybody looked great. It was fantastic. And then my deadbeat dad who left to go get milk ages ago, he decided that, I'm gonna show up to my daughter's cousin's wedding when he couldn't even show up to mine. Thanks, Dad. Needless to say, the entire family is fucking pissed. Like, I have never seen so many old people angry before. The drama that ensued, it was chef's kiss spicy. And then, this pile of trash of a person decides that it would be a good idea to friend me on Facebook on my little personal profile. And then it's like, okay, I'll be the bigger person. I'll send you a message. I get left on red, and then a week later, this heaping pile of garbage blocks me. I don't know what I did. Apparently I did something. It's not him at all, and his, I'm gonna pick my kid up and then not fucking show up. It's fine. I am fine. I talked it out in therapy, got back to normal. Well, mostly back to normal, but at least I can say it wasn't boring. It was entertaining, if anything. But anyway, during this time, my therapist called me and she's like, hey, I have your psych evaluation done, so why don't we schedule that? Because a while ago, she's like, hey, I think you have autism. I want to give you some tests. We did that like ages ago. It was a whole involved process. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. I decided before I get the results, I'd go online and take one of those online autism tests and see what we score. I have no idea what to expect, honestly. I have to wait for my results though, but you guys, I'm posting the results at the end of the video, so you guys don't have to wait, lucky sons of bitches. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop into this video and see how autistic Foxxy is. Please read each statement below and choose the answer that best fits your experience during social interactions. Oh, this is fun. I am a sympathetic person. I would say I'm sympathetic. I would say I'm sympathetic until someone starts making extremely stupid decisions without looking at the fucking logic to shit. Okay, number 2. I often use words and phrases from movies and television in conversations. Sometimes? Not really. Not recently. I feel like that was only when I was young. Yeah, I feel like that's only when I was young, because when I was younger and I watched movies like for Shrek, I would constantly say, that's a boulder. That's a nice boulder. I used to say that like all the time, and there was a couple other phrases that I did too, but that was only when I was younger. I don't do that so much now. Now it's more just kind of like meme phrases. Anyway, number 3, I am often surprised when others tell me I have been rude. All the fucking time. True now and when I was young. I have no concept of me being rude or not. And I don't ever think I am rude, but the way that I articulate apparently comes across as rude, because when I'm telling somebody information, I am telling them in an extremely logical way. And for whatever reason, people think that's me being rude. It's like, no, I'm just trying to help and give you information. Number 4, sometimes I talk too loudly or too softly and I am not aware of it. Too softly, all the time. Like, I have had to teach myself how to talk louder so that my mic could pick it up properly. And I've had to move my mic so close to my face Because sometimes I'm not aware of it and I'll just go into whispering when I'm playing a game, and it's like I gotta do some weird audio adjustments to fix it. Number 5, I often don't know how to act in social situations all the time. I am so oblivious. Like you have no idea. It was worse when I was in high school though. Now it's not so much. Now I can kind of like, I have scripts and stuff that I can run off of in my head. I still get thrown off by new situations all the freaking time. I can put myself in other people's shoes. I can logically, but not really emotionally, if that makes sense. I couldn't do that as a kid though. I definitely couldn't do that as a kid. 7, I have a hard time figuring out what some phrases mean, like "you are the apple of my eye." At some point, my grandmother explained to me what "you are the apple of my eye" meant, because I didn't pick it up immediately. So I'm gonna say true only now, because I can probably use like context clues and stuff to figure it out, but definitely not when I was younger. I only like to talk to people who share my special interests. It's not necessarily true, but I do find it hard to talk to people who like talk about football. I think all sports are absolutely terrible. Like, I don't understand why people sit in front of a TV and cheer and throw popcorn and go, ah! I don't get it. And if I try to have a conversation with somebody who likes sports, it's not happening. Like, if you don't share some interest of mine, it is harder to talk to that person. So I would say true now and when I was young, probably. Or, well, I can do it. So I'll do true only when I was younger than 16. Because I've gotten better at conversing. I just don't like it. Anyway, moving on. Number 9, I focus on details rather than the overall idea. Yeah, this one is pretty difficult. I would say, yeah, I would say true. It's gonna be really hard to explain, but I would definitely say true now and when I was young. Because I get stuck on the details a lot rather than the overall idea, and sometimes it can affect my emotions. And I'll literally just be sitting for like a couple hours on one tiny little detail trying to understand what that detail is. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Number 10. I always notice how food feels in my mouth. This is more important to me than how it tastes. I feel attacked. I feel so fucking attacked right now. There are only 2 foods that I do not like because of their taste that I found. And that's oranges and bananas. A lot of my other food issues are texture related or color related, but that's a side note. I'm gonna move on because I feel triggered. Number 11, I miss my best friends or family when we are apart for a long time. They just cease to exist in my brain. Like, I have a really bad time with object permanence? I don't know how to say it. If somebody doesn't take the time to message me first, I will completely forget they existed. And it's like, in my brain, I know they still exist. Time is a weird illusion for me. There are people I haven't talked to for like 3-4 years now, and I still consider them very close to me, even though we just kind of stopped talking and neither of us have messaged each other. I had a lot harder time of it when I was younger. So yeah, I'm sticking with only true when I was younger than 16 for that one. Number 12. Sometimes I offend others by saying what I am thinking, even if I don't mean to. That goes with the rude question. That was further up. I always seem to offend people, and I don't mean to. Like, it is not my intention to offend you. A lot of the times, I feel like there's a disconnect between what I'm trying to say and what actually comes out of my mouth. And then that leads to sometimes people getting offended, and it's like, wait, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say this, and I have to rephrase it like 3 times. I was super blunt as a kid, so it was a lot worse when I was younger. 13. I only like to think and talk about a few things that interest me. I can talk about other things. I don't really know how to answer these. I'm gonna say true only when I was younger than 16. 14. I'd rather go out to eat in a restaurant by myself than with someone I know. No, never true. I always have to have somebody. I hate going anywhere by myself. I have to have some support person. Like, I can do it by myself, but I am so extremely uncomfortable doing it by myself. 15. I cannot imagine what it would be like to be someone else. So every once in a while, I'll imagine what it's like to I guess be normal, because I haven't thought I was normal since a kid. So, never true. I have been told that I am clumsy or uncoordinated. I think it was true only now. Like, I was in gymnastics and ballet when I was a kid, and I guess kung fu also would count. I never really fell. I drop shit and I accidentally throw shit all the time now, and I'll trip over random objects that aren't there. Me and the floor have a very intimate relationship. So I'm gonna say true only now. Others consider me odd or different. All the time. Both now and when I was young. I was a weird kid. 18. I understand when friends need to be comforted. Sometimes. I have a bad habit, though, of trying to find a solution when the friend just kind of needs some empathy. I'm gonna say true only now, because I know when I was younger, I didn't fucking understand that shit. 19. I am very sensitive to the way my clothes feel when I touch them. How they feel is more important to me than how they look. I conformed to high school fashion sense because I guess because I got picked on. So I'd say true now. And when I was young, if something doesn't feel right, I can't wear it. Like turtlenecks? No. I can't have anything around my neck. It feels wrong. I like looser clothes depending on the clothing. Like, some clothes are okay being tight, some clothes are okay being loose. It just very much depends on the article of clothing as to how loose or tight I could wear it. And don't even get me started on bras. Just don't even get me started on bras. Fucking hate bras. Number 20. I like to copy the way certain people speak and act. It helps me appear more normal. Yes and no. I can only copy them when I am around them. So, like, if I'm by myself out in public, I'm gonna be weird. But if I am with somebody, I'm going to mimic them. And I've been doing this since I was young because I did it a lot in high school with anybody I hung out with. Number 21. It can be very intimidating for me to talk to more than one person at the same time. Yes. Yes. I get overwhelmed and then I don't hear anybody. It's even worse if they're talking at the same time, because I won't hear what either of them have said if they talk at the same time. It'll just get all jarbled up in my brain and I'll hear like pieces from one and pieces from the other. So yeah, I have to act normal to please other people and make them like me. True now and when I was young. 100%. I've had to turn down my weirdness like my entire life. Number 23. Meeting new people is usually easy for me. No, it's not. I will shut like a clam and I will not open up until I feel comfortable. Number 24. I get highly confused when someone interrupts me when I'm talking about something I am very interested in. Sometimes. Because if they change the subject, yes, my brain will get confused because then it has to change gears and jump to the next conversation. It's weird. I just kept going as a kid. So I'm gonna say true now and when I was young. It is difficult for me to understand how other people are feeling when we are talking. Maybe. So, because of my childhood, I've had to kind of learn to read people by body language and facial expressions, and I can kind of get a vibe from them as to whether or not, like, they're angry or sad or upset. I had such a hard time of it when I was younger, so I'm gonna say true only when I was younger than 16. 26. I like having a conversation with several people, for instance, around a dinner table at school or at work. No, I do not like having a conversation with several people. Nobody knows how to take their fucking turn in a conversation. Like, I don't get to have a say in the conversation when there are multiple people because everybody just always talks over everybody and there's no, like, social etiquette system in place. Like, nobody takes turns. They just jump in and it drives me nuts. 27. I take things too literally, so I often miss what people are trying to say. I get told this all the time and I miss sarcasm a lot. Like, there are times when my friends will say something and then they'll put the word sarcasm after it in parentheses just so that I know they're being sarcastic. So yeah, I take things way too literally. 28. It is very difficult for me to understand when someone is embarrassed or jealous. I would say true, like, when I was younger than 16. I can normally pick up on embarrassed and jealousy extremely quickly now because I've had a lot of trauma with both of them. So yeah, only true when I was a kid. 29. Some ordinary textures that do not bother others feel very offensive when they touch my skin. Yes, 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 yes. I hate microfiber. I know people who love the feel of microfiber and they think it's so fucking soft. It's like, no, it catches on the tiny little nicks of my skin and it's okay, we're moving on. I have goosebumps. Nope. Number 30. I get extremely upset when the way I like to do things is suddenly changed. Yeah, I do. I don't get extremely upset anymore, but I get irritated when somebody's like, oh, you're doing it wrong. And it's like, no, I'm not doing it wrong. I'm doing it the way that I like to do it. And if you want to show me your way, I am always open to changing my way, but don't tell me I have to change. I like to do the things that I do for a reason. 31. I have never wanted or needed to have what other people call an intimate relationship. This one's a little bit difficult because trauma. There were a couple times in my life where I was like, nope, I am not dealing with anybody. Everybody's gonna let me down. I'll just stick to myself and I'll live by myself. I don't need anybody because, like, oh my god, I can't tell you how many times I've been betrayed by either family members or boyfriends or girlfriends. And it wasn't until a couple years ago that I actually got into a healthy relationship and I found a small group of friends who aren't total pieces of trash. So yeah, I'd say that's definitely never true. Because I definitely wanted somebody to connect with, and then I've definitely needed it growing up. I just never really got it. Anyway, moving on. 32. It is difficult for me to start and stop a conversation. I keep going until I am finished. What is your requirements for having a conversation finished? Because if you get me talking, I can just keep going forever. Like, I've literally sat and had a conversation with somebody for 2 hours until I realized, oh hey, I'm hungry, and I was hungry 2 hours ago. So probably, yeah, I'd say it's difficult to start and start a conversation. Ooh. I'd say only when I was a young kid. Because I can start conversations now, not with strangers, but it doesn't say strangers. So I'm gonna say only true when I was younger than 16. I speak with a normal rhythm. I would say true now, and when I was young, I think I do. Number 34. The same sound, color, or texture can suddenly change from very sensitive to very dull. Sometimes the lights are too bright. The color of yellow is too bright. Sometimes I have to turn my music down because it's just too loud. Whereas, like, a couple of minutes before, I was jamming to it and it was just fine. Number 35, the phrase, "I've got you under my skin," makes me uncomfortable. It's a weird phrase and I don't like the phrase, but it doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's literally just words. 36, sometimes the sound of a word or a high-pitched noise can be painful to my ears. Yes. Well, not so much words, but noises. I can literally hear the battery that my computer is currently plugged into. Like, I hear the whine of it. And certain power strips will make that whine. It's like the weird electrical noise. I don't like it. I can hear it and I don't like it. 37. I am an understanding type of person. I am an understanding type of person. I guess true only now. Unless you start doing stupid shit. If you start doing stuff on purpose, nah, I'm not as understanding. Or if you do something maliciously, no, I'm not understanding at all. I'm understanding most of the time though. 38. I do not connect with characters in movies and cannot feel what they feel. I would say true only when I was younger. I feel like I've gotten better with that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say true only when I was younger because I can actually cry at movies now. 39. I cannot tell when someone is flirting with me. True now and when I was young. All the fucking time. Oh my god. And then, you know, the opposite is true too. It's like, I'm nice to someone and they think I'm flirting with them. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm just being nice. Like, what? 40. I can see in my mind, in exact detail, things that I am interested in. I'd say true. Because, like, I have a very photogenic memory. I can't, like, look at words and memorize them as much as I can pictures. I'm assuming that's what it means. I guess. 41. I keep lists of things that interest me even when they have no practical use. For example, sports statistics, train schedules, calendar dates, historical facts. Do they have to be physical lists? Yeah, honestly, true now and when I was young. Because when I was younger, I guess I do it now too. I really like listening to music. And when I was younger, if I heard a song I liked on the radio, I would write down the name or what I thought the name of it was. And now I have spreadsheets of I have an entire spreadsheet for my banking. I really like working with numbers. Oh god, maybe I am autistic. Anyway, moving on. 42. When I feel overwhelmed by my senses, I have to isolate myself to shut them down. Yes. I do. There are times when I have to lay on the bed in the dark and just not do anything. I have to doze for 15 minutes. And it's a very weird experience because I retreat into myself and I am partially aware of my surroundings, but it gives my brain a chance to kind of reset itself. 43. I like to talk things over with my friends. I'd say true only now. Because I had problems expressing things when I was younger. I had trouble communicating things, but I'm fine with that now for the most part. And I like to overly talk things over to make sure everybody's okay with things or whatnot. 44. I cannot tell if someone is interested or bored with what I am saying. I can kind of get hints after a while, but it does take me a while. It does. It takes me a while. 45. It can be very hard to read someone's face, hand, body movements when they are talking. Probably only true when I was younger. Well, see, it's weird because growing up with my mother, I learned to read shit. You could tell when she was mad because she would stomp around the house and bang things and hit pans off of stuff. And I kind of learned to read negative body language through her. So I'm gonna say that was never true. 46. The same things, like clothes or temperatures, can feel very different to me at different times. Oh my god. Oh my freaking god. 60 degrees in the winter feels really warm. 60 degrees in the summer feels really cold. And clothes are kind of the same way for the most part. A sweater feels overly hot in the spring, but it feels normal in the fall, if that makes sense. 47, I feel very comfortable with dating or being in social situations with others. No, I do not. I only feel comfortable in social situations if I am with somebody that I know. Moving on. 48, I try to be as helpful as I can when other people tell me their personal problems. I don't think I did it so much when I was young. I know I did it as a teenager, and I'm assuming because at 16 I was always trying. I was like a mini school counselor when I was in high school to people, because people would come to me with their problems and be like, what do I do? I can't get a date with this girl. What do I do? So yeah, I'm gonna say that was true. 49, I have been told that I have an unusual voice. For example, flat, monotone, childish, or high-pitched. I have been told that my voice is very low-pitched for a girl, and I have had people mistake me for a guy, especially when I had like really short hair. So I'm gonna say that was true. True now and when I was young. 50, sometimes a thought or a subject gets stuck in my mind and I have to talk about it even if no one is interested. Oh my god. I do that all the time, whether or not somebody wants it. Sometimes I need somebody to bounce ideas off of, and whoever is in the vicinity gets to be that person. 51. I do certain things with my hands over and over again, like flapping, twirling sticks or strings, weaving things by my eyes. I pick my fingers consistently, like, especially when I'm stressed. Other than that, I don't really do a whole lot with my hands, I don't think. But I know when I was in high school, I twirled my pencils a lot. So, yeah. 52. I have never been interested in what most people I know consider interesting. This is true now and when I was young. Case in point, my entire family is into sports and I'm just not. My family's been into social media too, and I don't get it. I don't get what most people find interesting. I like the weird shit, guys. 53. I am considered a compassionate type of person. I'd definitely say true only now, but again, there should be an asterisk after that, because again, if you're being stupid about your decisions, my compassion only will go so far until I'm like, you made your own grave, buddy. Sorry. 54. I get along with other people by following a set of specific rules to help me look normal. Yes. And it only ever becomes a problem when I start being weird again. 55. It is very difficult for me to work and function in groups. I hate groups. I hate group projects. I hate everything about it. Let me work by myself or like at most one other person. But even then, normally that one other person is a fucking slacker and I'm still left doing everything. So no, I don't function well in groups. 56. When I am talking to someone, it is hard to change the subject. If the other person does so, I can get very upset and confused. Not really. I might get a little irritated if the subject change is forced. 9 times out of 10, the conversation will just naturally change the subject, I guess. So I'm gonna say never true. 57. Sometimes I have to cover my ears to block out painful noises, like vacuum cleaners for people talking too much or loudly. I'll just leave the room, but yeah. I have a Roomba, and I would rather run my vacuum than run the Roomba because the Roomba is noisier for longer than me running the regular vacuum. 58. I can chat and make small talk with people. I can do it. I don't like it. And it doesn't make sense to me. 59. Sometimes things that should feel painful or not. For instance, when I hurt myself or burn my hand on the stove. I would say I'm the opposite of that. I don't know, because it depends on the part of my body and what the pain is. If I just whack myself on my desk, that's gonna hurt a lot less than like getting my blood drawn. I don't know if I can even answer that one reliably. I don't know. I'm gonna say never true for that one. 60. When talking to someone, I have a hard time telling when it's my turn to talk or to listen. True only when I was young. I can kind of figure it out now. I still sometimes miss the cues, but I can mostly figure it out. I am considered a loner by those who know me best. True, 100%. I played by myself all the time when I was a kid. 62. I usually speak in a normal tone. I think I speak in a normal tone. 63, I like things to be exactly the same day after day, and even small changes in my routine upset me. It doesn't upset me as much anymore because I've learned to be more flexible, but I had a lot of issues when I was younger. Because there was one particular time, and my mom loves telling this story. I was in like 2nd grade or 1st grade or something. I came home from school. My mom had been super busy all day, so she hadn't had time to make my bed. And I went in and I started sobbing like the world is ending. All because I didn't think she loved me anymore because she didn't make my bed. I don't do that anymore. I also don't really make my bed anymore, but that's different. 64. How to make friends and socialize is a mystery to me. I kind of know how to socialize, sort of. I don't like to. And making friends, I don't really understand either. So I'm going to say true now and when I was young. 65. It calms me to spin around or to rock in a chair when I'm feeling stressed. No, I'd much rather lay still and not move and just not exist. 66. The phrase "he wears his heart on his sleeve" does not make sense to me. Only when I was young. I understand it now, but I didn't get it when I was young at all. 67. If I am in a place where there are many smells, textures to feel, noises, or bright lights, I feel anxious or frightened. I wouldn't say I feel anxious or frightened. I would say I feel overwhelmed, and I get kind of irritated. But I don't get anxious or frightened. 68. I can tell when someone says one thing but means something else. True only now. I've gotten a lot better at reading people. I still miss a lot of stuff, but their body language normally can tell, you can kind of tell when somebody's lying or skirting the truth. I don't know how I know. I can just kind of feel it. 69. Funny number. I like to be myself as much as I can. True only now. I think. I feel like in high school and when I was younger, I was trying to conform and fit in so that I had friends. But now I kind of just don't. 70. I keep my thoughts stacked in my memory like they are on filing cards. I pick out the ones I need by looking through the stack and finding the right one, or another unique way. Oh, shit. That one hurts. So if I can't remember something and I'm trying my hardest to remember, if I sit and think about it, it's almost like going through a filing cabinet and going through memory by memory or file by file to find the right one, and then I'll remember what it is. It's really weird, but yeah, I'd say that's true now and when I was young. 71. The same sound sometimes seems very loud or very soft, even though I know it has not changed. Yes, it happens to me with music all the time, and it sometimes happens with people talking. Especially if I'm tired or not feeling good, sounds and everything else will just seem a lot more overwhelming, I guess is a good word for that. 72. I enjoy spending time eating and talking with my family and friends. I do. If I don't know them, it's a lot more awkward. But I like having game nights. I like having pizza nights. I can only do it for so long though. I do have a social battery, and then I have to retreat and just be by myself. But I do enjoy spending time and having fun. 73. I can't tolerate things I dislike, like smells, textures, sounds, and colors. Yes, I cannot tolerate eating a goddamn banana. My biggest thing is foods. I cannot force myself to eat a food I dislike. This is a great story. When I was younger, my mom tried her darndest to get me to eat peas. I don't like the texture of peas. The taste is fine, texture not really. The ones that come in a can. I sat for a whole day because I wouldn't eat my peas. I didn't get any other food. My mom was literally worried that I was just gonna starve. And she didn't want Child Protective Services to come take me away just because I wouldn't eat my peas. And she didn't want to have to continue to try and get me to eat peas. But yeah, no, I went for a day and a half because I didn't want to eat my peas and I wasn't allowed to eat anything else. I had to sit at that table with that bowl of peas until I ate them, and I just didn't. I'm super freaking stubborn. 74. I don't like to be hugged or held. Depends on the person. I'm gonna say true now and when I was young. Very much depends on the person. But for the most part, I don't like touched. 75, when I go somewhere, I have to follow a familiar route or I can get very confused and upset. I'm gonna say true only when I was younger than 16 because I can change my routes now. Like, I do have a familiar route and I don't get well, actually I do get confused. I get confused if I don't have GPS. I never leave my house without GPS because if I make a wrong turn, I have GPS. But I'm still only gonna say when I was younger than 16 though. 76. It is difficult to figure out what other people expect of me. All the time. Oh my freaking god. If you want something from me, you have to say it. Flat out. No sugarcoating. You have to say it. I don't understand hints. I don't understand beating around the bush. Just flat out say it. Like, okay, here's a good example. When I was younger, I was living with my mom. We had a lot of dogs. And there were a whole bunch of tennis balls in the yard that hadn't been picked up yet. And my mom commented, oh, hey, there's a whole bunch of tennis balls out in the yard. And I'm like, okay. And she got mad 15 minutes later. And she was like, why aren't you picking up the tennis balls in the yard? She got so incredibly mad at me. And it's like, I didn't say anything, but I wanted to tell her that she did not tell me to go pick up the balls out of the yard. So yeah, like, trying to figure out what other people expect of me is just, you just have to flat out say it. I had problems with this even in work too. And I told them, I'm like, you gotta be blunt with me. You can't be passive aggressive. I don't understand it. 77. I like to have close friends. I do now. I didn't when I was younger, and I have trouble keeping the close friends because either I say something that they find offensive or rude, and when I try to explain myself, they're not receptive of it, or I get used a lot. Like, one of my really close friends used me to drive her to school, and she would talk about her fun adventures with the friend group over the weekend. And I'm like, well, why wasn't I invited? And then her response would always be, well, I didn't think you wanted to come. So I like having close friends. I just always have problems keeping them. 78. People tell me that I give too much detail. Probably true only now because I'm much more of a chatterbox than when I was younger. I still try to gauge who to give the detail to. Like, if it's a complete stranger, I'm going to not say a whole lot. But if it's somebody I know, yeah, no, I'll just give you all the detail. 79. I am often told that I ask embarrassing questions. There was one time recently, an ex-friend asked if I could, like, help out with their banking situation, and then they got uncomfortable with the questions that I was asking. It's like, well, how else do you want me to help you figure your money situation out? Like, why did you ask for my help? So I'm gonna say true only now. No, I'm gonna say never true. Like, unless somebody asks me to help them, I'm not going to ask embarrassing questions. 80. I tend to point out other people's mistakes. I do that all the time, but I don't do it with the intention of pointing out their mistakes in the sense of, like, I'm scolding them. If that makes sense. Like, I'm not doing it maliciously. I'm doing it so that they're made aware of it and that they can better themselves from it. I don't know. I do that to myself all the time. I expect other people to do that to me. All right. I guess let's check what the score is. So the total is 152. The language subtotal is 8. I don't know what any of these mean. I'll download the PDF in a minute. So remember, I guess we remember 152, probably. Ooh. A score of 130 is the mean score of autistic people. Strong evidence for autism. I am at the higher end of that. I am 152. Yeah, I might be a little autistic, guys. Obviously, you have to note that no single test is conclusive, and not every autistic person necessarily scores above the defined threshold on each test. This is why I went to a therapist, and we're doing an evaluation. So I guess let's get on with the actual results. And now, it's time. Can you guess what my results are? Do you know what's wrong with Foxy? I got the autism. I got the autism. This has been a fun little excursion. I have this giant stack of papers here. It says it's 14 pages long. I'm not gonna show any of this paperwork in the video because it's got my name on like everything, but I will read the autism section. Foxy has autism spectrum disorder level 1, which apparently was formerly known as Asperger's disorder, which Asperger's. Honestly, I love that word. Asperger's. But anyway, I'll read you this little excerpt. Although Foxy has acquired learned strategies over her lifespan to navigate social interaction and social communication, manage restricted and fixated interests, or need for sameness, she continues to experience challenges in these areas. She continues to present with highly restricted, fixated interests in topics and activities and may present with adverse responses to specific textures or sounds. Well, you know, with the score I got on the online test, it didn't actually surprise me as much. But yeah, I got autism, among a couple other little things, but mainly autism. Does this mean I can rhythm with the tism now? Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Well, hopefully having this diagnosis will help and explain some of the things that my brain does, you know, because it's weird up in Foxy's brain. I was talking to my therapist who did the eval, and she's like, yeah, no, having autism could explain why you have anxiety for a lot of things, because you just don't know how to interact properly. And it's probably not necessarily like social anxiety. It's probably more along the lines of autism and just not understanding. It's been a learning experience, definitely. And I definitely got to do my research and I got to learn more about it. I got it, so I might as well become an expert in it, right? That's how that works, right? So yeah, this was a fun little video, and if you, I guess, enjoyed my weirdness, hit that like button, maybe a subscribe, you know. It's only gonna get weirder from here. I'm sorry. And hey, if any of you are also fellow autistics, leave a comment. I wanna hear from my people. Oh, biggest question. Do you also love chicken nuggets? Or just chicken in general? I need to know. I need to know how many autistic people are just crazy about chicken. But anyway, thank you all for coming along with me on this wondrous journey. And I will see all of you in the next episode. Bye-bye!